Loved one, hey, TJ here. Today I'm sharing with you 7 reasons why you have a low vibrational frequency and why life seems to just toss you obstacles and struggle after struggle. Without further ado, number one is you are worrying too much. You worry too much about things you cannot change and things that you have no control over. I have to admit that there have been times in my life that I have laid awake when I was supposed to be asleep, worrying about a problem, a problem that either is going to be there when I wake up or will have worked itself out when I wake up. Meanwhile, not only have I lost the sleep, but I've raised my cortisol levels, the stress levels in my body, which causes people to get sick. And stress is a number one killer. And instead of allowing myself to accept what is going on in that moment, I was worrying about the future. What is this going to look like tomorrow? How are things going to be next week? What is going to happen? And when you allow, though, but when you allow and you accept, you actually expand your mind. You open yourself up for creative ideas. Maybe I would have received some sort of creative idea where I could navigate better through the process, through the situation, or maybe even resolved it. But instead, I'm laying there worrying, which is not doing anything but causing an illness, wreaking havoc on my physical body. Okay. Number two, you look at most things through a lens of negativity. And a lot of folks do that and don't realize it. It is part of, for whatever reason, human nature to sort of veer towards the negative part of the spectrum, the undesirable end of the spectrum. I feel like, and I know for me, there was a point in my life where I felt like happiness was short lived, fun and happiness was short lived, but everything else in life was supposed to be, negative. And I think that's a lot of people, without even realizing that, not being conscious of that, they have that same thing. And if you go for, say, a job and you feel like, okay, I might not get it, I hope I get it, I might not. Those are affirmations. Affirmations, you're just speaking them. And a lot of times the passion behind those negative affirmations are stronger than the affirmations that you're saying when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. It's like you don't believe those. You believe the more negative affirmations because, you're so conditioned to it. You're looking at the state of the world right now and you're concerned about, what is it going to look like for your children, your family and friends, when really back to accepting what's going on at the moment and what you can do. And when you do that, you're opening yourself up for ideas on how can you help, how can you be of service to your children, to your family, to your community, to make this world a better place, because it starts right here. It starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with the individual and then it goes out. Okay, so worrying and seeing everything through a negative lens is low vibration, and the more you do those things, the more that stuff you're going to attract to yourself. That is the law of resonance. You're resonating with the lower vibration things because that's all you are focused on. Like attracts like. Energy flows where the attention goes. So if you don't want the energy to flow there, then you would just change your thoughts. Okay, and I'll talk about that, in another video that might pop up here or down in the description. You're watching and listening to or reading low vibrational or negative things. That includes a lot of news. The news, after about 10, maybe 15 minutes, to include the weather, you're not going to learn anything new. It's just going to continue to entrain your entire being and your entire environment. And all of your DNA and your cells are getting attuned to this here vibration. that is not benefiting you. Sure, it's important to know what's going on around us, what's going on in the community, the world, so that we can shine a light on it in order to make things better for the highest good of all, versus taking that information and then either regurgitating it on social media, spinning it in a different way, arguing about it, which is what a lot of people do. They discuss it at nauseum, just like the news. And I'm gonna say this: the news and media in general, this new thing about fake news. The news and media is what it always has been. It has always, it was its job from the beginning to sensationalize. So I don't know why people are clenching on to this new thing like it's a new thing. It is not. It is our responsibility as individuals to seek out truth, but not to linger on and walk in fear. Fear is another low vibrational frequency. Again, if you're living in fear, you're just going to attract more of that to you. Okay? So, number 4, you like stirring up drama, which means you are not leading with love. And sometimes people think that it's kind of harmless, just kind of fun to gossip, stir up drama, tell a little white lie or whatever, or just live and do for themselves, and it doesn't matter about others. That is a short-lived, you might have fun for 5 minutes, but it is short-lived. It's not going to continue on. You cannot sustain a life of ease, bliss, prosperity, and abundance with that kind of behavior. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, and I'm kind of fussing. The pettiness, all of that, low vibration, and you wonder why, okay, things aren't better, or why am I struggling. You have to remember, okay, you have the law of resonance and you have the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is better known as the law of karma. Karma isn't necessarily a bad thing unless you make it so. And when I say so, you reap what you sow. And that's not necessarily a bad thing unless that's what you like. If you like a life of struggle, then keep it up. If you don't, and you want to change and transform your life to one of abundance, prosperity, ease, and bliss, and unconditional love, then that's what you need to be putting out in the world. Okay? Now, let's get to number 5. You're always waiting for the ball to drop. You're not fully living in the now, and you are expecting or fearing the worst for the future. This can lead to depression. This can lead to anxiety. I've been there. I have always, for most of my life, quoted this thing that my father would say: nice guys don't finish. First, it was nice guys finish last. Then later on, he changed it to nice guys don't finish. And that is because he's a nice guy and he's always done the right thing, help people and things like that. And it wasn't reciprocated in that way. Even he's never reached out and said, hey, help me this, and this. But just the things the endeavors that he's tried, or obstacles that he would, run up against and things like that. Nice guys don't finish. And that is an affirmation. When you continue to say that, and with the passion of feeling like you just lost, or with the passion of, and that energy of I can't catch a break, then that is what you're going to continue to get. That is what you're going to continue to get. And for me, that's what I was saying. For me, I was saying the same thing. I didn't feel like I had good luck. I felt like there was some sort of omen, And then if things were going right, I would be happy for a minute, and then I'd be like, but wait a minute. Well, how long is this going to last? When is the ball going to drop? Because I know that happiness is not a true form of the human experience. That is what I was saying. And I, for the longest, felt like a caged bird, unfulfilled, for years, for years. And my mother would say, I would just say, oh my gosh, I'm so unhappy. I'm so depressed, and not depressed like clinically depressed, just like feeling so down. I would have these bouts of feeling so down that would hit me out of the blue, and my mother would say, you're unfulfilled, you're unfulfilled. And I'm like, I know, but what do? I don't know what to do. You're right, I am. That is true. I was feeling all of that, and it really wasn't until I let go, and I realized that happiness is that is the human, that's how we are supposed to be. That's how we're born. That is innate within us, happiness. We fall back into happiness and love. And a lot of times we'll ease out of it because of society and, belief systems and things like that. But what is innate within us, in our DNA, is happiness and unconditional love. Period. And when I started realizing that, then everything shifted for me. Everything shifted for me. And I was so relieved. I gave myself permission. I was like, oh my God. I was so relieved to just take this vest or a straitjacket of mess off of me. And I changed my mind and I changed my heart. And that's all it took. I'm like, I understand now. Number 6, your ratio of taking outweighs your giving. Are you a taker? You have people who take, and they barely give. It's all about me. And I'm telling you now, if you are not giving, you are not putting yourself in a position to receive. So while you're taking and worrying and fearing and, creating drama, stirring up the pot, all of that stuff, you are creating the struggle bus for yourself. You driving it. You built the bus. You put the tires on it, created the engine. That's your bus. That's all you. It is your responsibility to change the trajectory of your life. Okay, and so you create these obstacles because you are creating these energy loops. Cause and effect, the law of karma. And when I talk about the law, I'm speaking of the universal spiritual principles, or the universal laws of the laws of the universe, the spiritual laws of the universe. That's what I'm talking about. And without further ado, I'm going to go into number 7. You are hanging out with people who bring unsavory energy, gossiping, arguments, judgmental, all of that. And you're going to notice that what happens is, first of all, like attracts like, okay? But what you're going to notice is when you decide to change your vibrational frequency, when you raise your frequency, things and situations are going to shift. And you're going to see that you are an energetic match for things that are on a higher vibration. And that might mean that some of those unsavory characters will drop off. So it's not a matter of like, oh, these are my friends and I really don't want to distance myself from them. Energetically, they're going to distance themselves from you. They're going to fall off on their own as long as you're raising your frequency above that behavior. Or they are going to be forced to raise their frequency in order to meet you where you are. Either way, it's a win-win. I'm TJ Sykes, and I help you expand your mind so that you can live a life of purpose and fulfillment, happiness and abundance, ease and bliss, and on and on and on. All right, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And then check out the other videos that I have on this topic. Also, subscribe to my channel if you want to hang out and raise your consciousness and expand your mind and have more fun with me. Until the next time, live simply and be kind.